song? Doing jazz hands today? Hi, friends. I am Dr. Gabby. I'm a writing coach, and today I am actually hosting a writing retreat guest. So I'm deep in reading and writing. This is my bestie, Jaime.
I am a life and business coach and the founder of the Anima Collective. And what are we talking about today?
Okay, so over the weekend, I was binge reading this book called Ambition Monster, and it's a memoir. And this woman, Jennifer, wrote this book, and it mirrors a lot of my own personal journey of chaotic upbringing, becoming a workaholic, becoming the representative version of myself, looks really good on the outside, hot mess on the inside. And so I was like feeling all this resonance with her writing and just like thinking about that journey for myself, about how it took me until my mid 40s before I actually even knew who I was, could show up as actually who I was, not be embarrassed of who I was, ashamed of who I was. And then that was also colliding with my awareness, my ongoing awareness of how controlling I am.
How are you not aware of your controllingness prior to that?
I mean, it's like peeling the layers of an onion. Like, I think like I understand my behavior, and then I find new fascinating layers of, like, so for example, I'm in this mastermind program, and I'm in a period of expansion, of inviting in more opportunities for speaking, getting on stages, trying to do a TED Talk, all this stuff, right? And as part of that, one of the facilitators was like, "What's the problem, Gabby?" And I was like, "I don't know, like, I'm going to drop some of the balls, like things are going to become unmanageable." And she's like, "Well, then let it be unmanageable." Like, but I had learned in 12-step recovery, there's this saying, my life has become unmanageable. And so I'm like turning it over to a higher power, right? So there's this notion of unmanageable as like something to be
worst case scenario. That is the worst case scenario.
We realized that our lives had become unmanageable. That's like, oh man, you better check into rehab. If your life has become unmanageable, it's time to go to rehab. So for me, the idea of like letting my hands off the steering wheel, even just for like a few hours, I as I'm paying attention more and more, as I was reading this and reflecting, I was like, oh girl, we got some work to do. We still have some work to do to relax the sphincter muscles. Like, we still got to relax over here.
It's so interesting because, like, so in Anima Collective right now, the play is our theme of the month. And so the direct question of this morning was, if play was the top priority, what would you be doing different in your business, your life, or your relationships?
Right.
And like, the answers that were coming were just really, really interesting on this way of like, I'd have more space, right? Like, it was a lot of this stuff where you were letting go of the controls, right? Letting the space be there. And then I was listening to our friend Nikki Novo's podcast, and she did it about luck. And she was like, she said that from the guides, because she's a psychic, right? She said that they're like, oh, since 2020, people have given up on luck.
Oh, that's so sad.
I know. And so her podcast is really good. You should go listen to it. But it was like this very interesting idea of, if you're controlling everything, you have no room for luck.
No.
You have no room for the universe to like
spontaneity, for surprise connections, for inspired action, for all the good stuff.
And this is like, I mean, a lot of this like thing comes from like Artist Way and all of those things too, of like, you've got to take yourself out of the things that you're doing to figure out who you actually are, right? Like, you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to just follow this path, this tiny, narrow path. And like, if you can open up to, hey, I'm going to go on an artist date. Like yesterday, Gabby and I went thrift shopping at the craziest thrift store I've ever seen. It's like the size of a Walmart. This place is insane. And like, it's just like, and it's color coded. There's no sizing. There's no nothing. It's just by color and like dressed. And then it's like white, black, brown. Then it's just like the whole rainbow. Right. And, you're going through it and you're like, you're like, nope, 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 maybe. All right. You're just like throwing all this stuff into a basket. And it's like the spontaneity of it where you're like, I have literally no idea what I'm going to find. And what I'm finding is only one, right?
Yeah.
Like we did actually find one dress twice, but that's different. But like it is that like space of like, oh, can I lean into a little bit of unknown to be able to see what kind of magic is out
So,
there?
okay, so for our listeners, because we're running out of time here, we want them to like, share, and comment. Was there a prompt in Anima Collective around play that we can give the listeners that they can drop in the comments? Like,
It was, what would you do differently? What would, if play was the priority, what would you do differently in your business life and or relationships? Because it was interesting where people struggled. So that is the prompt, guys.
That's the prompt, you guys. And Jamie, it's 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks. You're about to be 50, baby.
What do you think's gonna happen? I feel like I don't know what's gonna happen.
I don't know, man. The universe is doing some weird stuff. It's about to get real interesting.
All right, people. We will be back tomorrow. I got 2 more weeks in the countdown to my 50th birthday. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.